Hey, it's your friend Cristiano, and welcome to the Queer Quest Podcast. Hello, beautiful queer souls. Welcome back to the Queer Quest Podcast. Today's episode is one I've wanted to make for a long time because it sits right at the edge of visibility and misunderstanding on celebration and misrepresentation. We're diving deep into what it means to be non-binary in 2025. Now, I've had a few people talking online recently about this topic, and it really has been a bit of a hot topic where I think that there is some real confusion that I would really like to help clear up. So if you're non-binary, you're questioning, or just want to better understand the wild, wonderful spectrum that gender really is, this episode's for you. Because being non-binary isn't just about not fitting into male or female. It's about liberating gender from the box that it was shoved into in the first place. It's about crafting your identity as art, as truth, as freedom. And yet, even with more visibility than ever, being non-binary in 2025 still comes with erasure, still comes with misgendering, still comes with policy failures, and still comes with so much cultural ignorance. So in this episode, we're going to explore the beauty, the complexity, the struggle, and the euphoria of existing beyond the binary. So let's talk truth, let's talk tenderness, and let's talk gender. And of course, if you get some value out of today, which I really trust that you will, then can you please do this episode and the podcast a huge favor and help boost it to others in the queer community and those who really need to understand this topic by liking and commenting and sharing and tagging and subscribing or reviewing us, as it's just more than you may know towards getting this episode and the podcast in the hands of the queer people and the people who truly need it most. Thank you for whatever you can do. All right, let's start by untangling some of the confusion because non-binary is still misunderstood, even within queer spaces. Non-binary means not exclusively identifying as male or female, but it can also mean so much more. For some, it means agender, which is no gender. For others, it's being gender fluid, which is what I class myself as, or bigender, or something else entirely on the spectrum. Some non-binary folks experience their gender as shifting, as layered, as nuanced, kind of like a kaleidoscope that just can't be captured in those static definitions. And for many, being non-binary is also part of being trans. That's right, non-binary people can be trans. And this is where the topic of confusion has been recently. Now, not all non-binary people will identify as trans. And not all trans people are going to identify as being non-binary. But the truth is, many do, because they are living in a gender that is outside of what they were assigned at birth. And that is the very heart of being trans, self-definition beyond the binary box. Non-binary identity, it isn't new. Now, it's been here for centuries in cultures around the world that honored third, fourth, and fifth genders. Colonialism erased so many of those expressions. It's really true. It really is. But the resurgence we're seeing now, it's not an invention. It's a remembrance. And in 2025, this remembrance is going to be louder than ever, and we need to get it correct. So let's talk media, let's talk pop culture, let's talk visibility. Now, we've seen non-binary representation growing from characters like Cal in Grey's Anatomy to Mason in Sex Education to real-life trailblazers like India Moore, Lachlan Watson, Emma Corrin, and Janelle Monáe, my personal favorite. We've got non-binary people hosting shows, modeling for major brands, and reshaping these industries. But visibility doesn't always mean depth. It doesn't always mean safety or understanding or actual real representation. Because here's the truth. Sometimes non-binary characters are reduced to tropes. So they're like emotionless, they're edgy, or simply a they-them tag slapped onto another one-dimensional person. Sometimes they're also erased in translation, quite literally, looking at you for those dove feelings that misgender. And even when we get the win of representation, there's often a backlash, a fear-filled reaction from systems that want gender to be neat and binary and fixed. But we know the truth. Gender is messy, beautifully so. And non-binary people are complex. We cry, we fall in love, we work and rest and scream into the void and dream of soft lives. We're not just plot devices, we are main characters. In 2025, we are seeing both more visibility and more vulnerability, more light and more shadow. That's the paradox of this moment, and we're going to unpack it all in this episode. Hey love, while I've got you, I want to gift you with something powerful, something I wish I had when I was cracked open and crawling through the mess of heartbreak, shame, and that deep ache of, why am I like this? If you've ever felt like healing is this confusing, invisible maze where you're just surviving one emotional breakdown after another, if you've been wondering, is something wrong with me? I want you to know, you're not lost. You're not broken. You're becoming. Most queer people were never given a roadmap for healing. We were taught to hide, to perform, and to shrink. We've been gaslit by religion, erased by culture, and taught to just get over it. But healing isn't a straight line, especially when you're queer. It's not just about feeling better. It's about coming home to your queer, radiant, whole hour self. That's why I created the Journey to Queer Healing, a free guide that maps out the 18 emotional stages of queer healing. It's not just theory, it's your soul's survival map. You'll see where you are, what's next, and what's possible on the other side of the pain. This guide has helped hundreds of queer people realize it's not just me. I'm not behind. I finally understand what I'm going through. Download the guide today. Let it remind you, your healing isn't random. It's divine. Download it now via the link in the show notes. Or you can comment guide on this video or on any of my socials and I'll send it directly to you. And when you're ready to go deeper, join us for the Queer Comeback webinar. Let's make your healing sacred and make your comeback legendary. I'll see you on the journey. Let's talk about pronouns, because even in 2025, this tiny detail still causes massive waves. Non-binary people use a variety of pronouns. They, them, he, they, she, they, ze, them, am, no pronouns at all. And while that might be confusing for some, it's also quite liberating. Language is power. It really shapes how we're seen, how we're respected, and how we actually move through the world. Using someone's correct pronouns is not just about being polite. It's about dignity. It's about saying, I see you. I believe you. I affirm that you know who you are. But still, many non-binary people are misgendered every single day at the doctor's office, on legal forms, in dating apps, in their own families. Some people do it unintentionally, and others will weaponize it on purpose to cause trauma, to cause scars, to do something intentional. And the impact? It's exhausting. It's dysphoric for some. It's sometimes violent because misgendering isn't just a mistake. It's often a reminder of how the world still doesn't want to stretch to meet us. But every time we create spaces that normalize pronouns, every time someone puts them in a email signature, every time a friend gently corrects someone else, we create a ripple, a shift toward a world that understands identity isn't binary. It's brilliantly plural. Now, let's talk about being non-binary in public life, whether that's walking down the street, whether it's showing up at work, or even accessing healthcare. In 2025, we've made some strides. More companies include MX in their drop-down menus, which is really cool. Some places offer gender-neutral bathrooms. And a few progressive countries now allowed a third gender marker on IDs, which is fantastic for these people who really deserve that. But the truth, for many non-binary people, daily life was still a minefield. Going through airport security with a body that doesn't match those expectations, getting misgendered in job interviews, wearing what affirms your gender, and then getting harassed for it, choosing between authenticity and safety, between visibility and survival. And in workplaces, we still hear of non-binary folks being asked, but what are you really? We still notice people being denied promotions for not presenting professionally. Gender normatively is what people are looking at, right? It's like also having to educate the HR departments about pronouns during onboarding. Having those conversations can be awkward and unsettling and fear-inducing. It's also about being tokenized during Pride and then invisible during the rest of the year. And yet, non-binary people keep showing up. We lead movements, we write books, we perform surgeries, teach classrooms, start companies, build chosen families, and redefine what leadership even looks like. So, no, we're not just surviving, we're reimagining society from the inside out. Being non-binary in 2025 means constantly navigating a world that wasn't built for you, while dreaming one that is. It means holding both the grief and the grace of not fitting into what's expected and using that in-betweenness to create something sacred. Hey babe, quick moment before we dive back in. I have a question for your soul. Have you ever felt like you lost yourself somewhere along the way? Maybe it was the breakup that shattered you, or the years spent hiding, bending, blending just to feel safe. Or maybe it's the quiet ache that whispers there has to be more to this life than just surviving. Well, I want to invite you to something that's not just a webinar. It's a comeback, a queer one, a sacred, fabulous, F the rules kind of comeback. It's called the Queer Comeback Webinar. And inside, I'm sharing the 3 secrets every queer soul needs to know to come home to themselves, unapologetically, spiritually, powerfully. This isn't about fixing you, because you're not broken. This is about remembering who the F you are. If you're tired of dimming your light, people-pleasing, or playing small just because of society's judgment, come. This is your moment. Not someday, not when, you're more ready. Now. Tap the link in the show notes or just comment "come back" and I'll send you the link. Reserve your free spot now. And if you're multitasking right now, pause this video for just 1 second and do this for you. Your comeback isn't deserved, it's overdue. I'll see you there, my love. Let's take a moment to shift the energy, because being non-binary isn't just about navigating pain or microaggressions. It's also about magic and joy and gender euphoria. Gender euphoria is that rush, that sparkle, when your insides match your outsides, when someone gets your pronouns right without hesitation, when you look in the mirror and see yourself, not a gendered expectation, when your voice, your clothes, your movement, that feels like home to you. For some, it's binding or unbinding. For others, it's dyeing their hair blue, wearing nail polish, and a chest harness. It's slow dancing in the body that you've chosen, or crying in a dressing room because something finally fits. Non-binary joy lives outside the binary, in the wide open spaces where authenticity becomes art. It's in ballroom culture, in the way that non-binary people reimagine drag as a playground for identity. In literature, where characters exist without being reduced to their gender. In communities where we cheer each other on, not in spite of our differences, but because of them. And there's deep spiritual joy too, because for many, being non-binary is a soul-level truth. It's not between male and female, it's beyond. It's cosmic, it's sacred, it's ancestral, it's revolutionary. We are not glitches in the system. We are the system rebooting. So let's talk about love, because non-binary people are reimagining relationships in beautiful, radical ways. Romantic, platonic, sensual, spiritual. Being non-binary often means unlearning the roles that we were assigned. Who gives? Who receives? Who protects? Who nurtures? Who leads? Who follows? In non-binary relationships, there's no preset script. We get to write our own. We ask, what feels good for you? What makes you feel most affirmed? How can we hold each other in all our gender fluidity and softness and strength? Some non-binary people are in relationships with other non-binary folks. Others are with cis partners, learning to unpack gender dynamics. Some are poly, some are monogamous, some are solo. All of this is valid. And let's name something else. Non-binary people deserve love, deserve desire, deserve to be seen not as confusing or too much, but as expansive, as worthy, as real. They're not a checkbox on your dating profile. We're not an experiment. We're not a phase. We are whole people with rich inner lives and sacred outer expression. And we bring a kind of intimacy to relationships that is raw and tender and wildly real. To be non-binary in 2025 is to love deeply, because we've had to learn how to love ourselves without any roadmap. And now, right now, we get to offer that same kind of expansive, intentional love to others in our friendships, in our families, in our communities. Hey love, before you go, I need to tell you something important. You weren't meant to do this healing journey alone. You weren't meant to figure out your queer identity, your purpose, your healing, your worth in silence. So if you've been listening and thinking, I'm ready, I want to transform, I want to live fully, I just don't know how, this is your sign. This is your queer comeback. Welcome to Queer Quest Pro, a revolutionary 12-month journey of queer healing, growth, and transformation in every area of your life, from your mental and emotional health to your spiritual connection, purpose, finances, identity, relationships. This is your full circle evolution. We guide you month by month through the queer wellness wheel of life with workshops, live coaching, quests, rituals, and a global community of queer souls rising together. It's the place for woke queer humans who are ready to rise unapologetically. Because healing is hard, but healing in community, that's sacred. And baby, you deserve sacred. Are you ready to live a life that actually feels like yours? Click the link in the show notes to join us now. Doors are open. We're waiting for you inside. This is your comeback. Don't miss it. Being non-binary is not just a Western phenomenon. It's not new, and it's definitely not a trend. Across the globe and throughout history, gender diversity has always existed. The hijra in South Asia, the Fa'afafeni of Samoa, the muxes of Oaxaca, Mexico, two-spirit people among many indigenous cultures around Turtle Island. These identities weren't exceptions. They were, respected roles woven into the spiritual, familial, and social fabric of their communities. And today, in 2025, non-binary people are reclaiming that global lineage. And let's be honest, the fight looks different depending on where you are. In some countries, coming out as non-binary can cost you your job, your housing, even your life. In others, it's celebrated, protected by policy, welcomed in schools, centered in media. So when we talk about non-binary visibility, we have to center intersectionality, because being non-binary, while also being Black or brown, disabled, neurodivergent, working class, a migrant or refugee, a parent, spiritual leader, those experiences are not the same. And yet, they're crucial to the movement. The future of gender liberation has to be built with all of us in mind, not just the palatable, not just the marketable, all of us in all our messy, brilliant, layered realities. So, where are we headed? I believe the future of gender, it isn't about labels. It's actually about language that liberates. Now, it's a world where we can stop asking, what are you? And instead ask, how do you feel most you? A world where kids that, they grow up seeing non-binary elders, whether that's in schools, whether that's in office buildings, whether that's in healing spaces, or in movies on TV, in books, not as rare unicorns, but as real possibilities. A world where gender isn't policed or prescribed, played with, expressed like art, held like prayer, where people are affirmed in their pronouns, protected in their transitions, and free to evolve, where gender isn't a weapon or a wage gap, but a wonder. And maybe, just maybe, we'll stop seeing non-binary folks as exceptions and start seeing them as expansions of what it means to be human. Because that's what non-binary people are. Not outside the system, but beyond it. Not undecided, but unbound. Now, if you're non-binary, questioning, or simply curious, know this. There is no one right way to be you. Whether you change your name, or your pronouns, or your clothes, or nothing at all. You are still you, and that you is enough. So here's to every non-binary babe, finding language, community, safety, and joy. Here's to the future we're building. Not either or, but everything in between. All at once, all the way. Thanks for listening to the Queer Quest podcast. If this resonated, share it with your chosen fam. Leave us a review, or just take a moment to breathe in your truth. And if you want to go deeper, check out the resource section below. There's a free resource book. There's a free webinar for you to come join. Or you can check out Queer Quest Pro. We can go so much deeper. We see you. We love you. We are you. Always remember that you've got this. I've got you. Bye for now.